Which leads me to the other kiddo that I want to talk about inside the top 25 that OU has its hooks into, Raleek Brown, who came onto the scene at OU last year at an elite camp where he was playing wide receiver to Brock Vandegrift throwing passes to everybody. Everybody that's there is going, is that a wideout? Is that Hollywood Brown times 2? And what did he say? I'm a running back. And I'm going, okay, you get to keep that in a way that some kids don't, right? There's lots of kids that think of themselves as running back. They're going to be playing DB. They're going to be playing safety. They're going to be playing linebacker. Jadeveon Clowney played defensive end. So knowing all of that and knowing how he's sitting right there still just top 25, inside the conversation for 5-star, what do you think he needs to prove going into his junior season?
Well, it's a loaded question to ask. I think we should preface this by saying Raleek Brown coming in at number 20 right now and considered the number 1 running back in the nation. Pretty good start, if I do say so myself. So going off of that, you say there's probably not much that he can prove at this point. Yeah. He just kind of has to uphold that standard. Right. See, that's where I kind of factor in something that Lincoln Riley brought up, I believe on early signing day, that really stood out to me because I don't know if I ever really took it into consideration in the past. Maybe that's just because I'm a younger mind and I haven't been around the recruiting world that much. But they essentially asked him about Marvin Mims, right? And the guy that essentially became a national record holder at the receiver position and became such a nationally recognized name that you thought, well, this guy's an easy take. The matter of fact is that Marvin Mims wasn't always factoring into Oklahoma's plan because of what Lincoln Riley said that day. He said, look, we are very, very key on seeing players improve. We want to see them take next steps. We want to see them continue to work hard. And are they being complacent with their talent, or are they doing whatever they can to develop and turn into the elite level talent that we know them to be? And that's where, for me, Raleek Brown has to take this into consideration. You already did it, dude. I mean, hey, number 1 running back, top 20 athlete. You're considered by almost every program in the nation to be an athlete that could do whatever you want on the offensive side of the football. I mean, yeah, like you're pretty darn good. I'm telling you that you're pretty much Percy Harvin. That's not praise to be overlooked. But at the same time, I need to see how Raleek Brown handles the status because bottom line, yeah, he should have been at Oklahoma's camp and blew the roof off. But at the same time, I don't think a ton of people in attendance knew exactly who Raleek Brown was at the time. So he's taking those next steps that Lincoln Riley mentioned and has now ascended to top overall status at his position, top 20 ranking in the nation. So now what I need to see is, okay, do you go from 20 to 19 or you go from 20 to 21? You know what I'm saying? How do you now take this recognition and build on it? What are you going to do to make sure that this foundation builds you towards sustained success? And that's what I always point to with these highly coveted recruits is, are you going to be complacent with your talent, or are you going to take this and use it as fuel? I think Raleek Brown is the kind of kid that's going to use it as fuel, and I can't wait to see what kind of fire ignites for this young guy.
I want to go through the top 100 with crystal balls pointing to Oklahoma, and then I'm going to ask you to pick out just a couple of kiddos that I know that you've talked to, that you're going to write about on OUinsider.com that you think need to be spoken about here today. At 55, Kobe McKenzie, who's in the boat. He plans to reclassify for the 2021 class, but we'll see how that goes. It's still open. He's shooting for it right now. We'll know for sure in December, right? So there's that. Mm-hmm. And then, and I would really wonder what would he be ranked in 2021. And I know I'm probably going to get Gabe Brooks on the podcast at some point to talk about that. Armani Winfield coming out of Louisville, Texas, 6'2", 180 pounds. Right. Yep. He's ranked 90th. And then Talon Shetron at 93 ranking, 6'3", 170 pounds, coming out of Edmond, Santa Fe. That dude has been on the come up for some time, and I'm excited to see what he looks like going into his junior season. And of course, I mentioned Maurice Horn at 144, and I got to get to Jacob Sexton also at 161. So lots of quality kiddos trending toward Oklahoma. But Colin, you spent a couple of days trying to track down a few of them. Who do you want to talk about?
Yeah, I'll just quickly run through a few. I want to first mention Devon Campbell, young man of Arlington Bowie High School, a young man that in this area has ascended to astronomical heights. I mean, we're talking about a kid, RJ, that only just a few months ago, I mean, like maybe 2 or 3 or less, has gone from literally no one knew about this guy to now number 14 in the nation, the number 1 ranked offensive guard in the country. I can't even describe to you how this dude has blown up over the past few weeks. I mean, the guy goes to an offensive line camp put on by Coach O. Next thing you know, this guy is getting offers from Florida, from Alabama, from Oklahoma, and now we're talking about a dude that in this area went from who is that guy to, oh my goodness, we got to get that guy on the roster. Devon Campbell has done an outstanding job making a name for himself. Have to give him props. I want to talk about quickly Kamari Wilson, the young man who was checked in as the number 1 safety in the nation coming out of the state of Florida. I had a great long talk with him last night. I'm going to have all that up on OU Insider, but basically this dude has worked his butt off for so long, and just last season missed 3 games, but still totaled 114 tackles, 5 picks, and 2 pick sixes. I don't know how that's done, especially in the state of Florida, but Kamari Wilson did exactly that. So make sure you check that out. And finally, I just want to quickly mention a couple of dudes that I feel like are on the outside looking in because we don't talk about that often with these rankings. I think Bobby Taylor, cornerback out of Katy, someone that Oklahoma's coming after heavily. That's my guy. I think he is easily a top 247 talent, but he's moved around. He's had some things going on for him recently. So I think Bobby Taylor's a name to know in 2022 that may not be on this list. And then you talk about Trent McGaughey, tight end for Shadow Creek, who just won a state championship there first. I think he's obviously on the outside looking in, and he's wondering why. But, I mean, the guy just played tight end for the first time all career. And now we're talking about a dude that has visited Oklahoma, is getting a lot of attention from Florida. I mean, this guy is basically becoming a nationally recognized tight end, and he barely even knows how to play the position. So those are a couple of names on the outside that I feel like a lot of people should know. They will be on the inside and quite up top the inside top 247 very, very soon.
Right on. Colin is going to write about a number of these kiddos at ouinsider.com, so be on the lookout for those. Quickly, I just want to just drive this home. Devon Campbell coming out of Arlington Bowie. That's the same place that Ty DeArmond came out of, and Danny DeArmond is head coach there. I'm going to be interested to see how this goes because Ty did not have the greatest freshman year and got out of Dodge just as soon as he got in. He was a late addition to the 2019 class. He flipped from Arizona State last minute because Lincoln Riley asked him to, and then he kind of wilted on the vine. So I'm going to be interested to see if any of that plays into it. I know that Danny is an upstanding person, and Danny wants the best for his kids, but I'm sure that there's going to have to be some conversations if there haven't been already about how that went down. And I'd also add, yes, Devon Campbell is the number 1 guard in the country. The number 1 guard in the country for this class, 2021, Donovan Jackson. Donovan Jackson's committed to Ohio State. Ohio State has this prodigious, could be all-time best class if they finish at their pace currently. And he's also teammate with one, Cullen Montgomery, who is committed to Oklahoma. So I love how all of these spider webs intertwine through recruiting.